At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, everybody. It is, it's Wednesday, all right? It's Wednesday, the 31st of May. Let's get into this. Not the news we wanted, but the news that we got. 3, 2, 1. Yo. I'm wearing some different shades on this one. My awesome pair that I normally wear, they're all scuffed up. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of depressed. It's not been a good day. It's not been a good day for your boy. My beloved favorite pair of sunglasses are all gunked up. I don't know what's going on. And then we have some news. Ron Holland is once again, he's not picking the Hogs. We know that much. Damn it. No. I mean, it is what it is. Look, we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about it. And we'll just start off there. Let me get a little sippy sip. Well, these Celsiuses, they hit the spot. Watermelon's pretty good. Just FYI. Watermelon's pretty good. Yeah, so make sure you guys, before we get going here, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you're new here, I know a lot of people watch this show and they don't have YouTube accounts or they just don't subscribe, but they're coming back and they're watching all the content. I say all. They're coming back and they're watching the content. So please make sure you subscribe. All right, we got to get serious. The shades have got to come off. Oh, these are pretty. These aren't bad. I like the other ones better, but these aren't bad. I actually like these a lot. These were a gift from a friend of mine. I like my other ones better because they fit my head better. These are a little bit more snug, but dude, they look. I mean, come on, man. I mean, look how clean. Look at the art on the side. Yeah. Shout out to my boy Tim. All right. Ron Holland, he's gonna go with the Ignite, the G League, 5-star, number 1 player out of the state of Texas. I'm gonna say I am shocked. I shouldn't say that. I always say that. Nothing shocks me anymore. It seemed, and the more caught up I get today, because today was really my day of catching up. The last couple of days have been a little busy, which is why, obviously, Monday I didn't go live because of the holiday. Tuesday we had some stuff going on, and then today I was given the opportunity. It just so happened, whether I went live or not, I had a feeling the Ron Holland stuff was going to break, and it did. Listen. I tweeted this out earlier. What did I say exactly? What did I say exactly? Ron Holland never needed to be released from Texas from their from the NLI, not NIL, the NLI, to play in the G League. I believe if he wasn't a soft a silent commit to the University of Arkansas, then he was the next thing closest to that. You don't need a release. Now, some say that, maybe that was just for, maybe that was for some other purpose that we're just unaware of. I don't know. He didn't need it. He didn't need him being a part of that. Officially with the University of Texas has nothing to do with going to the G League. Now, does that help them maybe free up a spot or whatever? Then why didn't they do it sooner? I think they believed he was going to Arkansas. I think Texas thought he was going to Arkansas. I think their media, not all of them, several of them, thought he was going to Arkansas. Why else was he waiting on that? If he was going to the G League, I mean, why not just do it? Give it a little bit of thought and then turn around and just do it. You don't need to be released from your NLI. It doesn't, something doesn't add up. I'm also not, I've seen the whole, he played Arkansas, right? He was using Arkansas as leverage to get more money. Guys, we don't know that. Nobody knows that. Only person that knows that is, the people in his camp and the Ignite. There's the only people and even they may not fully know the full story, but that's just all assumptions. That's things. That's not really fair to him. Is that an argument to be made? I'm not going to say. I'm not dying on any hill there that he did or didn't use Arkansas as some kind of tool to get a little more cash or whatever. I mean, in this day and age, God only knows, right? I mean, what I do know is that twice now we thought he was going to be a Razorback and that he was going to end up playing for Arkansas in 2023. And twice Arkansas has been burned. It seemed to me, I went to bed last night thinking, well, he's going to be a Hog tomorrow, so I better get ready. In fact, I had a thumbnail halfway, almost done. I was going to complete it earlier this morning. I had a thumbnail practically done. I thought he was going to commit to Arkansas. I really did. So, he wanted to leverage the Hogs against the G League, says Michael Kopesky. See, I mean, again, that's speculation. We don't know that. I see the argument. I get it. Today has been a damn train wreck. That feels like I'm being forced to watch. Well, it started. Not been a great week. Cardinals did beat the Royals. I was glad they split that 2-game series because Royals fans, for whatever reason, they just get really aroused when they beat the Cardinals. They get really, and so of course on my Facebook timeline, I have multiple Royals fans just having all kinds of fun with it. So it was good that they were able to take game 2. What was the score? 2-1. Cardinals probably had like 5 hits that whole game. That was good. But then the Celtics getting eliminated, game 7. God, not a great week. What's going on, Ty? I'm glad I'm in my office at work. Was about to leave and get some things done. I'll stay and listen. I appreciate that, Trevin McDonald. Don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble, Mr. McDonald. John Oliver says we are loaded with the 6'8", 6'9" guys. Someone like Nelson would be a huge ad. Losing out on Holland hurts pride, but doesn't hurt talent-wise. Yeah, I mean, there's some options here, and we're going to talk about a couple of them and what I think needs to be their key play here in just a second. Devo comes back, and we land Nelson. All is right in the world. Yeah. All right. Shout out to the sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. They know what they're doing. They do great work. We've got pictures of their work in our Discord if you need some garage door work done and you're located in Little Rock or Central Arkansas or Northwest Arkansas. Give Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, a call. Better than best results. A bunch of 5-star reviews. 501-244-3667. Again, that's 501-244-3667. And the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzaria located on Emma Street in Springdale. Fantastic pies. We had, was that Friday or Saturday? My neighbor and I, Alex, we have something called our Fable. It's a table. It's our fence. It's a portion of our fence that we turned into a table. So we folded that down. He brought out his canopy, and we had Odd Soul, drank some brews and some whiskey, smoked cigar, had a good old time. That was Saturday or Friday. I don't know. That whole weekend's just a giant blur. But we had Odd Soul, and it was fantastic. Again, they're located on Emma Street. If you're coming up, Arkansas, God, I don't even have this on all my notes here, but Arkansas is going to play. We've got baseball coming up. We'll get caught up on that as well. Pull something up here while we're. Have you guys seen they're already camping out? They've been camping out outside of Baum Stadium since like I guess before the SEC, before Arkansas got eliminated out of the SEC tournament. I guess they were already lining up. I don't know when the line actually started. Oh man. Yeah, so exciting. Arkansas again going to host. If they can win this, they're going to end up being they're going to host Supers as well if they can get out of this. Let's see. If I were Ron Holland, I would have gone G League 2, getting paid more money while also getting better competition and not having to do school. It's understandable. Yeah. No, I get it. No, I'm not slamming it. You guys know me. Anyone who's been around long enough, who's watched my shows long enough, I get why these kids make the decisions they make. And I can't say that I would do anything different. I don't blame him. I don't know what his NIL deal would have looked like here. I have no idea. I don't think anybody really knows. Tons of speculation. But I'm sure the G League is going to be able to pony up quite a bit of cash. He doesn't have to go to class. He doesn't have to go to school. And that's the thing that universities, these schools like, I mean, we could say Arkansas because this isn't the first time, right? I mean, you've landed McDonald's All-Americans. You've landed these players who have probably had that option on the table. So you could throw – I'm not saying they're as good as Kansas or Duke or North Carolina or Kentucky in terms of their buying power in college basketball. But when it comes to recruiting, this is something that Arkansas is probably going to go up against. This won't be the last time. This won't be the last time. And schools like North Carolina and Duke have been dealing with this for a little while. And for Hog fans, it's a fairly new thing to deal with. I think Arkansas got a rough draw for their regional. Well, we'll talk about that. Again, we'll get to that in just a second. But this is – I'm sure we'll have more shows like this. Maybe, I mean, in the near future, next year, year beyond, I'm sure – I mean, assuming I'm not pushing carts again for Walmart or Sam's Club or selling you a car on a used car lot somewhere. By the way, shout out to all the car lots. I mean, nothing against that, Gotta make money one way or another. But assuming I'm still here, I'm not kidding. You really could. Someone asked me if this ended for me tomorrow, what would I be doing? And I said, I don't know. I pushed carts for like 4 years for Sam's Club in Springdale. Maybe I'll go back and do that and lose some weight. Will you be going live Friday before the game? That is the plan. I don't. The wife and I didn't get a chance to. We didn't get a chance to go out on an anniversary dinner. She was out of town. She was in Beebe, Arkansas all weekend. So we didn't get a chance to go out for dinner. Our anniversary was just this last weekend. So we're going to go out Friday night. I don't at the moment plan on doing a post game for game one unless things change, but I will be live Friday. Yeah, one way or another. Just know Coach Muss was not holding his breath on the Holland commitment. Probably not. I mean, especially after the first go around with Ron Holland, right? And I'm sure, I mean, there's nobody more plugged in than Coach Muss, right? If you guys have any questions or comments, fire away. I'm doing my best here. So the Holland, and I don't know, it does suck. I mean, you're talking about, man, this roster. And I know we're still waiting on some other pieces too, right? Before we continue on, we have to talk about a couple of other things that popped up on my radar today as I was getting ready to do this show. Former Razorback commit. I don't know if you guys – we've talked about him. A couple of people actually DM'd me like, wait a minute, who's this kid again? Miles Rouser. You guys remember him. He had some off the field activities that got him in a little bit of trouble. Miles Rouser ended up going to Campbell University. He's now transferring. Now I don't know that he played a single snap, but he's now transferring to New Mexico State University. So Miles Rouser, again, he was a Hog commit, big time player. Had folks telling me this is the closest thing you're going to get to that high caliber defensive player since a Kel'el. Not saying he's the same type of player, same type of DB as Kel'el, but someone that certainly could be in that realm by the time he leaves Arkansas. Could be someone you're talking about comparing to Jalen Kel'el. Now, that was back then, and a lot of things were different then. A lot of things have happened since then. Obviously, Kel'el couldn't stay healthy, so we never really got to see him fully. Of course, he's at UT, and that sucks, is what it is. But Miles Rouser going to New Mexico State. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him at New Mexico State. I think technically he'll be a redshirt freshman. I don't know that he played at Campbell. I'll be honest, I didn't even look it up. I just know that he was at Campbell University. But he is transferring to New Mexico State. So we'll see where he's at. I don't know that Sam will reoffer him. I don't. After having a couple conversations with some folks, I don't know that he'll reoffer him. If he could stay out of trouble for a couple of years, let's say he's at New Mexico State for a couple of years, he's got a good reputation around campus, he's going to class, he's staying out of trouble, then why not give him a second chance, right? So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But if he has an immediate impact at New Mexico State, wouldn't shock me at all to see him wind up at another bigger school. Of course, rules have changed, too, at the transfer portal and how that all works. Also, Oral Roberts, Connor Vanover, taking a trip to Mizzou. I think that's today. So Connor Vanover, I guess he has a legit offer on the table. I mean, why not? 7-footer. Averaged almost 13 points, 7 rebounds at ORU last year. Why not? Interesting. Wouldn't that be something? Listen, for everyone who's like, oh, it's a legit rivalry, blah, blah, blah. This is one of those things that's like a building block to an honest rivalry, is having let's not kid ourselves. Vanover, for a short period of time, fans were really, especially as soon as he transferred here, he had a bit of a fan club. There was definitely a little bit of a fan club. You're talking about a 7-footer who could knock down the 3-ball, and he was 7 feet tall. I mean, what's there not to like? He can at least alter shots if he's not getting blocks down in the paint. But we know he just had a hard time kind of. I bring this up often, but he was definitely a square peg in a round hole. I don't think he could ever play at a Musselman's intensity. But there certainly were people, especially that first year, that were in the Connor Vanover fan club. I thought for a short while he could be a pretty decent contributor, and then he lost minutes his last year here, and then didn't play at all that following March Madness. So Paul says he had 30 or 40 tackles. Oh, okay. As a true freshman, that's not bad. How long have you been live? I've been live for 20 minutes. Tony says, I don't see him going to Mizzou given they're full of the brim. Yeah, and that was the other thing. How do they have room for him? Because I thought I had heard last that they were full. Oh, God, this fan. Yeah. Miles' brother plays at New Mexico State. Okay, I didn't know that. John. So his brother plays there. Miles' brother transferred from Michigan. Okay, all right. I didn't know that. Well, there you go. That just popped up on my. I was in a group text. I got a group text this morning that he had gone to New Mexico State. I didn't realize his brother had transferred there. That's interesting. Let's see. I feel pretty darn confident in our senior transfers to as to whereas we get a lot more veterans on the court. It says Woo Pig. Paul says, yeah, I remember when he had committed here that Michigan thought they had him because of his brother. I do remember his brother at Michigan. I just didn't know he transferred to New Mexico State. I didn't know that. Was that this year he transferred there? This offseason? It had to have been, right? What else do we have on the agenda here? We have draft stock, and we also have, and if we've got times. Let's go to times here really quick. Arkansas football released the times that are available for the first 3 games. Game 1, which we know is down in Little Rock, will be at 3 p.m. on September 2nd. You got Kent State, Game 2 of the season. And then, by the way, that's on ESPN Plus, so, and then Kent State, September 9th, will be at 3 p.m. on the main SEC Network channel. And probably the coolest, this is the best news. This is the best news. If you like going to games at night, Arkansas gets BYU at 6:30 p.m. on September 16th on ESPN2. Nighttime games are fantastic in Fayetteville. They're fantastic. They're great. I've been to night game. Now, I don't know that I've ever been to a night game in Little Rock off the top of my head. I feel like I have, but it's been a long time. I feel like I've been to a night game at Little Rock, but it's been a minute. Like maybe Houston Nut era. Like it's been a long time. But I off the top of my head, if I did go to a nighttime game in Little Rock, I don't remember it. So therefore, it must have been a lackluster event. Maybe Arkansas lost. I don't know. But BYU in Fayetteville, 6:30 p.m. That's awesome. It's on ESPN2. But if I were you, and you don't have a post-game show to do, you need to try and get tickets to that. That'd be a lot of fun. I hate doing this thing where we assume, right? But going into that game, Arkansas should be 2-0, right? They should be 2-0. Knock on some damn wood. All right, I'm going to do it. There, I knocked on wood. You couldn't hear it, but I knocked on wood. They should be 2-0. I don't know about being ranked or not. It just kind of depends. On where these two teams are. I mean, Kent State, of course these two teams they're not going to be ranked. But BYU, I don't know, maybe. If they start off the year, I think they play 2 games before they play Fayetteville, or before they come to Fayetteville. I'm going to begin my deep dive on week-to-week opponents for Arkansas starting in June. Now, that won't be public video content. That's just me doing a little extra research, getting caught up on the transfer portal and all that. Also in the month of June, guys, oh my goodness, a lot of stuff going on. Patreon is going to be rocking in Discord in June. And I love to, listen, there's other people that are, what Patreon chat is, which is what I've always wanted it to be, is a place where the extra content is happening. Like the extra conversations that are not had in main chat, like recruiting, getting some little tidbits here and there. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not. But we've had when I get smoke, that's where I take it. When I get a little bit of smoke revolving around Razorback football recruiting, that's where I take it, is right into that Discord, into the Patreon room. So if you're not a Patreon supporter, you need to look into that. And if you're not in our Discord, you need to look into that as well. But yeah, no, I am stoked about this game at night. This is a big one. To have BYU, regardless of, I know Arkansas manhandled them last year, and remember, I have a video out about the ceiling, where I think Arkansas ceiling is at. So first off, go watch it. But I will tell you, I do have Arkansas ceiling at 10 wins. I'm not saying they get there. I'm not saying that they arrived at 10 wins. I think that is their ceiling. Some people are telling me, oh, Ty, they could go 11-0 or 11-1. Excuse me. Okay, that's your ceiling. My ceiling is I'm at 10. Now, that will change especially after doing a little bit more deep diving on all these opponents at Arkansas, all 12 opponents. But, yeah, and BYU is one of those games you just want to circle because, they are known when they're good. They can play a really high level of football. Wouldn't shock me at all if BYU walked into Fayetteville and gave them a better game this time around. So, yeah, BYU, ESPN2, September 16th at 6:30 p.m. What do you guys think of that? I think that's pretty badass. I'm pretty excited about it. Arkansas torched BYU last year at their place. KJ, you want to talk about Heisman moments? KJ had a pretty special moment last year. Like, I'm not, obviously that didn't lead to him being a candidate. You also only won 6 regular season games. He didn't have enough of those moments against quality opponents, but at the time, maybe you considered BYU a little bit better of an opponent than they turned out to be. But yeah, so I think BYU is a good P5 test before you go to LSU. Yeah, it'll be, yeah. I mean, they're not, they are, I mean, yeah, they're a Power 5 now, right? That starts soon. They're in the Power 5, I guess, if you consider the Big 12 Power 5. I don't really know that I do, especially without Oklahoma and Texas. Say what you want about either of those two schools, but we all know they recruit at a really high level. They are always the most talented, just in terms of talent, star power, they are the most loaded teams in that conference. Tony Brown says the most reputable of sources, Curtis Wilkerson, said Holland would be a Hog. Do you think something happened last minute because last night Hog fans were locking Holland? Yeah, well, no, listen. Holland had, and we're kind of bouncing around a little bit, Holland had been giving a future cast or whatever, crystal balls clanging around everywhere to go to Arkansas. Everybody. Anybody with a set of ears that even halfway follows Arkansas or just recruiting in general, basketball recruiting, I'm sure they all woke up feeling the same way. Like, okay, they're gonna land Holland. And it just didn't happen. I don't know. I don't know how those teams can even operate, talking about the G League. I don't know how they can operate. I don't know if there's like, they can just come back with any offer they want, whenever they want, however much they want. Is there what's the most they can spend versus how, an NIL deal at the University of Arkansas when you're going to be a highly coveted prospect walking into a team. Had Ron Holland, of course, we're still waiting on a couple of apples, right? We're still waiting on what's going on with Devo and Walsh. And they got some more. They got good news too this week as well. They got a couple of guys that withdrew their names out of the NBA draft. But boy, this team with Holland, you feel like it propels them up 5-6 spots. Most people have them around 10th or 9th or 8th. I think 10th is about the average. That jumps them up several spots. Some of you will probably say, no, Ty, they're the number 1 team with Ron Holland. Maybe. I don't know. Don't know enough about the top 5 at this moment to make that kind of claim. But I do think it jumps you up at a minimum of probably 4 or 5 spots. Now, I'll also tell you, who gives a shit about preseason rankings? Rankings they don't mean a damn thing. They really don't. In the grand scheme of things, they don't. What matters is what you do in March. And it also matters, like your seeding matters, but that's something separate, though. Arkansas, I think they're in good shape even without Ron Holland. I know this seems like – I know it seems like just a horrible – it does suck. I'm not taking anything away from that. It does suck that especially when everyone felt so strongly that he was going to end up being a Razorback, only for him to for whatever reason, it seems like at the last moment, to make that decision to go G League, it just kind of is what it is. At the end of the day, I think, and I'll just go ahead and transition into the next part, what I was going to talk about, which is Walsh and Devo. Those are 2 options that are still on the table for Arkansas. I feel like one, if not both of them, could return. Now, Walsh has had a hell of an offseason. He's worked out. He's done really well in these NBA workouts. Walsh is catapulted from, I don't know where he was at 3 months ago. Now they're talking about him being a high second-round draft pick. Not a first round. I don't know that I've seen anyone put him in the first round. I've looked at this morning. There were 2 new mock drafts, or at least one. ESPN has a mock draft out. Walsh and Ricky Council are not on that list. Well, that's another situation. I know Ricky Council's gone, but he's all over the place with his mock draft. But Walsh is climbing. Make no mistake about it. He is climbing. I don't know that he has a chance into the first round, into the first round or not. But you can't tell me that Walsh wouldn't be a great benefitter to come back next year. And same with Devo. Devo's not even I don't think anyone has him being drafted at all. He's probably going to, if he does stay, if he does want to pursue the NBA this year, I think he's a free agent overseas. He's not going to end up getting drafted. So I listen, Walsh would greatly benefit coming back. Devo, it does feel like he's probably hit his ceiling, although he led Arkansas in scoring for how much in the month of, February or January when they got into SEC play? You know, him and Ricky Council. I think Council led, Anthony Black led a couple times. It was a little bit of a by committee in terms of leading scorer, but Anthony Black and Devo and Ricky Council were kind of back and forth a little bit. But Devo stepped up as a two-way player, and I am absolutely fine. If that's his ceiling, I'm absolutely fine with that, because he was a nuisance when it came to defending out in the defending the 3-ball. He was difficult to dribble around, almost impossible. He was such a great perimeter player, and then he found his 3-ball. All of a sudden, the guy developed. He was a legit threat as an outside scorer. Who the hell saw that coming? So I would gladly bring Devo back, and of course we all know what he's capable of in the month of March. And then with Walsh, he's got a little ways to go. Why not come back? We all know why he's not projected in the first round. His offensive game. He finishes well at the rim, but we didn't see it. And I've told you guys 100 times, the NBA absolutely they use a little bit of film. They're going to look at film. They're going to look and see what Walsh did at Arkansas, and maybe even some McDonald's All-American. He's going to talk to. The NBA is going to talk to those coaches. They're going to talk to his high school coaches. They're going to look at high school film. They're going to look at what he did in his 1 year at Arkansas. But make no mistake about it, his offensive presence for the most part was nowhere to be found. Come back. Have that Bobby Portis turnaround. You remember that? One of the things that Portis needed to work on was finding a jump shot, and he found it. And look what happened with Portis in his career. Greatly benefited him returning another year. And you can make this claim about any number of players anywhere. Guys that definitely benefited for coming back for year 2 or year 3, whatever. I think he's definitely one of those guys. I know that's easy to say. He's a McDonald's All-American who's not projected in the first round. It's easy to say, oh, well, if he comes back, he's going to develop into a potential first rounder. I'm not saying he's going to turn into a lottery pick. I don't know. Long arms, big hands, and is a absolute nuisance as a defender. He can guard 1 through 4. I don't know if he could do that in the NBA or not. Maybe. He's got that reach. He's got that athleticism. He recovers really well. He's tricky. He can be sneaky on defense. He's got a great motor up and down the floor. He's motivated. He has that on-floor energy. And again, at this level, he can guard 1 through 4, and at times we've seen him pair up okay with a 5. Not that he was ever really paired up with a 5, but if he was ever there, for whatever reason, in a situation where he was guarding a 5, we saw him slap a ball loose a couple of times. He just was capable. I think he's capable of being a legit top 20, top 25 pick next year. This year, probably not. Probably second round. Walsh to me has to be someone, and Devo, you've got to highlight their names, circle them. Those are the 2 guys you got to recruit back. I think it ends up more than likely being that you get one of them back, not both of them, but there's certainly, like I said a minute ago, an opportunity there and a possibility. I'm not saying it's probable, but just saying it's a possibility that you could get them both back, and all of a sudden Arkansas, again, I think you talk about Arkansas getting another jump in preseason hype and rankings and all that stuff that people tend to care about. I think what matters is what you do in non-conference scheduling and what you do in your conference and what you do leading into March. I think that matters more than rankings and all that. And of course, getting a better seeding also always helps. So the more you win, the higher up in seeding you go, the more difficult schedule you play. It all just kind of comes together. But that's the stuff that matters, and that's the thing that Walsh would help the most in. Now, yeah, and the other thing, too, that's going to keep him probably out of the first round is not only, and I think majority of it is his offensive presence was just nowhere to be found for the most part in college. I know he had a couple of games where he kind of, I don't remember what his highest scoring game was, but I know he had a couple of games where it looked like he found his offensive rhythm. But that is one of those reasons. I think the other one is smart defense is what kind of held him back a little bit because he got into foul trouble so quick. But he got better. He got better as the season went on. Like it wasn't Walsh was on the floor, bing, bang, boom. There's 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes. Like all this, that's over the top. But, that started to fade away a little bit. It didn't seem to be as common. And I like him too. I think he's someone, when he plays with that defensive energy, I think everyone feeds on that. And he makes everyone better around him. Listen, him and Devo both, to me, are priority one at the moment. I think they got to get them both back. And they have that continuity. They've played with Eric Musselman before. They understand what he wants. They understand the workout regimen. They understand what Musselman wants from his guys, whether they're on the bench or on the floor. He knows they both know what Muss expects of them, and they know how to play within his system. It'd just be huge to get those guys both back. You like our quality depth this year? Yeah, I've kind of already talked about that, Shahid. I made some videos on. I think I've talked about quality depth. Maybe I should make a video. Maybe that's my next. I've got some video ideas. Maybe I need to add that one. I don't have that on my list. How is the quality of depth this year? Do they have it? It's a good question, Shahid. Maybe I'll look into that. Devo, Boss Hog says, is elite defensively, but his recklessness when handling makes him a liability at the next level. I agree 110%. Yeah, his handles aren't the greatest. He makes me nervous when he just brings the ball out, brings it over half court, doesn't pass, just tries to drive. But we started to see less of that, and we started to see him feed more. Almost our entire defense is transfers. That will determine. Okay, football, right. He has the frame for sure. I think he should come back. Are you talking about Walsh? Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I just think Walsh and Devo. So let's get into the mock draft here really quick. You guys, someone had asked me about doing this a little while back, and I was waiting because I knew we were going to get an updated list. So here it is. ESPN's latest mock draft. By the way, I said during the season that Nick Smith was going to be a lottery pick, but I could see him sliding back. Now, it's kind of funny. On two different sides, I caught hell for this. Someone telling me, no, Ty, he's not a lottery pick. I think he's a lottery pick. I said at one point it wouldn't shock me if Anthony Black passes him. I mean, a 6'7" point guard whose ceiling is really high, could be higher than Nick Smith. I could see him going before, and it certainly looks like that could be the case. But I still think he ends up a lottery pick. And right now, according to ESPN, they like him going to Oklahoma City, going to the Thunder as the 12th overall pick, with Anthony Black going at 8th to Washington. Now, Jordan Walsh, according to ESPN, they have him going to the Hornets at pick number 39, if I looked at that right. pick number 39. Now, NBC's a little bit different. NBC Sports Mock Draft, Anthony Black, they have they have him going to the Wizards. Some think he might get taken higher than that. I think there was an article I read where he may not be available for the 8th overall pick, talking about Anthony Black. I don't know. They, too, have Nick Smith going to the Thunder. The difference here, now they don't have NBC Sports. I didn't see that they had a second round. Obviously, Walsh wasn't in their first round. They have Ricky Council as the 29th overall pick to the Indiana Pacers. Now, I think this was updated today, and I may have already closed the link out. I don't know. You could Google it, NBC Sports Mock Draft. But they have, last I saw, and I'm pretty sure this was recent, they have Ricky Council going as the 29th overall pick. But ESPN doesn't have him drafted at all. They don't, or at least they don't have him. Yeah, they don't have him in the first 2 rounds. What NBC Sports says about Ricky Council was perhaps the most consistent offensive weapon for the Razorbacks in their Sweet 16 run on a team loaded with first-round talent. Council was not afraid to take over and hit shots in key moments. There's some versatility in his game as well that will give multiple teams reason to take a flyer on him. Okay. So they like him. The NBC Sports thinks he ends up in the first round. I think it's more likely he slides to the second round. Possibility he doesn't get drafted. I don't know. I mean, we all know, well, for anyone who pays attention to the NBA draft, it can be absolutely wild. Guys that are projected somewhere in the top 25, they slide back way further than anticipated. But NBC Sports likes Ricky Council. And by the way, they like him to the Celtics. Yeah. So we'll see. That'd be neat to have 3 first-round draft prospects. That only helps the Razorbacks. I don't know that I see that happening necessarily. But ESPN, and this was today that they updated this, they have Walsh at 39th pick. So you're going to tell me that Walsh wouldn't be a higher pick coming back? I think he would. I think if he develops the offensive side of his game, plays a little bit smarter, foul-free. I mean, not completely foul-free, because a guy that plays with that kind of intensity is going to get into a little bit of foul trouble. But, maybe simmer down some on the defensive end of things, and just in terms of foul trouble, and develops an offensive presence, finds a way to be – I'm not saying he's got to go out and get 16 a game, but just find more of an offensive presence. Imagine if he found the 3-ball. Imagine if he had that Devo Davis out of nowhere. I know we're talking about 2 different positions, 2 different players, but imagine if he found that range, his draft stock would just explode. And who knows, maybe his potential. I mean, we are talking about a McDonald's All-American. We are talking about a cat that was recruited really high. Maybe his potential is lottery pick. I don't know. Ricky to the Celtics, yes. I'd be excited to have him to play in Boston. Top 20 for sure if Walsh comes back. Will be a Bobby P situation like you mentioned. Yeah. Tazilla, baby. What's up? What's going on, Scott? How you doing, man? Hey, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Ricky worked out for the Pacers recently, says Flamin' Ninja. Thank you. OKC turning into Arkansas Pro. Yeah, Arkansas West. Gotta love it. I love that Jay Will's there. How close to Fort Smith he is over there, right? He's so close to home. I love that for him. Hopefully he can have a good, long, healthy career there. Yeah. Black going to Washington, number 8, seems to be the general consensus. Yeah, no, both NBC Sports and ESPN has him there. I thought I saw him a little while back when I was looking up mock draft stuff. I swear that I feel like he's been projected there for a while. It all feels – and the same thing with Oklahoma City and Nick Smith. Let's do an odd soul poll here. Let's do an odd soul poll really quick. since we're so close, let's see. Odd soul poll. Does Nick Smith Jr. stay a lottery? Or do we want to go with Walsh and Devo? Oh, I like that. Unfortunately, I can't customize the answers. Walsh and Devo return to Arkansas. Let's see where you guys are at on that. I wonder if can I do multiple polls at once? Is that an option? No, that's too freaky, is what that is. Tony Brown says it looks like Alabama is leading the Grant Nelson sweepstakes. If I see another Bama fan say the Muss bus is falling apart on my timeline, I'd have to bring up baseball. All right. Razorback baseball. Hang on. Well, my allergies, it never fails. I sit down in here and I just get, it just hits me all at once. Like, just kicks my ass. This is a pretty loaded show. I got up this morning knowing that we'd probably have some news about Holland, but I wasn't sure what else we could talk about. I knew there'd be a little bit of mock draft stuff. Knew we'd get into that a little bit, but then we had all this extra stuff to talk about, and of course, baseball's there. Arkansas, Friday, June 2nd against Santa Clara. That's available on ESPN Plus? Really? Come on, man. ESPN Plus, for real? You're not going to put that on? I mean, I get it. It's not. That seems silly. I think Arkansas ended up with a pretty interesting. I mean, you got Santa Clara, TCU, and Arizona in your bracket. So we know that game. It starts at 2 p.m. That's on the 2nd. Arizona, TCU. So you'll take on the winner of that. We are going to do a Tuss Talk with Ty Discord prediction. Now, the baseball predictions, I've seen those get as many as maybe, or lately anyways, when I did one. It's been a couple months, but the last one that I did, I don't think we got but like 10 votes or 10 predictions. Not even that. And it's the reason why I stopped doing them. If you're not going to do the predictions, if we can't get more than at least 15 people, then I'm not going to do them. There's no point. I'm going to do one for this one. So if you're in our Discord, I'm going to drop that here in just a little bit when I'm done streaming. But I don't know exactly if I'm just going to do it game by game or if I'm just going to do Arkansas wins the Fayetteville Regional. I don't know. I'll think of something. But so Arkansas is going to take on Santa Clara. Again, I do expect to make a Tuss Talk with Ty Discord prediction for that for experience points. So for you guys that have been asking about those, they're coming. They're coming. What's up, Haas? How you doing, man? How's it going? So Nelson visiting Bama. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Hang on. While we're here, I can just Google it. Let me look this up. 'Cause that's news to me. I just don't know that. I don't see it anywhere. Tony, where are you seeing that at, bro? If you're in our Discord, share the link because I'm not seeing it. Let me pull up Twitter. Let me pull up the Twitters. Let's see. Pace, Grant Nelson. Let's see what we got here. Latest. I'm not seeing that anywhere. I'm not seeing that. I see where Trilly Donovan posted Alabama, Baylor, Florida State, and Iowa as the short list. Now, he is the college hoops box score enthusiast and very reliable burner account, but he does have 19,000 followers or almost. I don't know. That usually doesn't mean shit, but sometimes it does. But he has the initial short list. This was today, literally like 35 minutes ago. Alabama, Baylor, Florida State, and Iowa. And yeah, you've got Mizzou fans. Must Bus is collapsing. Yeah. Come talk to us in March. I mean, what is it with Mizzou fans, anyways? Like, it has nothing to do with them. Everyone knows Arkansas's. I mean, of course, they're the initial expectations that Grant Nelson is someone they're going to target. And someone like Trilly Donovan says Alabama, Baylor, Florida State, and Iowa are the initial the initial short list. Although I don't know if that's from his mouth. Did Grant Nelson say that? And of course, you got dumbass Mizzou fans. Must Bus collapsing. I don't get it, man. Living rent free in their heads. I mean, where does all this stem from? Like, is this just that Arkansas is returning back to greatness? It's like mid-90s all over again. Like we're climbing that ladder to success and they're not. Yeah, they had a great year and they beat Arkansas. Congratulations. Meanwhile, Arkansas's made back-to-back Elite Eights, 3 straight Sweet 16s. What have you done, Mizzou? Not a damn thing. You had a good regular season, which I don't know. I thought Mizzou fans halfway understood basketball. They've had some success, especially when Mike was there. Thought you would know that no one gives a shit about what you do. No one cares about the SEC tournament. No, and I know I'm just using that as a reference because oftentimes we have people talk about that. It's no one cares about that shit. Oh, we finished top 5 in the SEC. Nobody cares. What did you do in March? Do you get to hang a banner? Yes or no? Can you make it beyond the second round? Can you even get to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8? When was the last time you did this? Have you made three straight Sweet 16s? Have you made back-to-back Elite 8s? Have you won a national title? I don't understand. Like, Mizzou fans, rent-free, baby. That's all it is. It's rent-free. They have nothing better to do. Oh. It's great, though, at the same time. They're still pissed about Brazil. Is that what it is? Are they mad about Brazil? Are they still? God, I hope he lands a triple-double both times. I just hope he beats the shit out of them. And like it's amusing, right? They're a slight annoyance. Maybe not even that. It's just rent-free. I don't. Tony spreading fake news. Yeah, I didn't see anything on it. He says he's got the article. Well, join our Discord or tag me or send it to me on Twitter. I'd like to see it because I didn't see it. I don't see it. Appreciate the retweets, John. Appreciate that. Hog Twitter, they still blast Brazil with it. Yeah, I did see that. I mean, that's classless. When you're going after somebody because of their injury, that's classless. Man, that's just, I don't know. You come to expect that from Mizzou fans, though. You really do. You come to expect that from Mizzou fans. Hearing both Walsh and Devo are gone. Walsh draft and Devo leaning overseas now, but is really torn and not for sure yet, even this close to deadline, says John Oliver. It is a possibility. I think it is certainly a possibility that that neither one of those guys return. Let's look at our odds. So Walsh and Devo return to Arkansas. 71% of you say no. 69% of you say no. So if you're just now here, if you're just now joining, make sure you take that poll. We have talked, again, we did talk earlier about Holland makes his decision. He's not going to play at Arkansas. He's going to go to the G League Ignite. We've also discussed the possibilities of Walsh and Devo returning. We've talked a little bit about the mock draft. I'm still appalled people like Missouri. I wouldn't mind touring their campus just to see what all the hype is about. That they themselves create. Nobody else. They themselves create. Can't click it. I'm saying I got it. Oh, well, all right. Yeah, you can't, unfortunately, unless you're a moderator or myself, you can't share links. But I don't know if I have that ability to change that right now, do I? I do not. What's fun is they run their mouths, and it gives me something to do on the Twitters. Yeah, that's for sure. They have a lot of yeah. I get it too. Some people understand they can get a rise out of Arkansas Twitter for sure. Anybody can, but they're like a. I don't know. I guess it's just because the amount of time they spend on Arkansas. It's all the time. It's like almost daily. They've got people flapping their gums about Arkansas, and I just have never understood it. Well, like I said, Tony, if you follow me on Twitter, hell, you don't even have to follow me. I have open DMs. Just hit me up in the DM, sir. Hit me up. Send me the link. Because I like I said, I'm not seeing it. I'm not saying I don't believe you. I just don't. I can't find it anywhere on here. Boy, whoever gets Grant Nelson, though. Yeah, Grant Nelson, yeah, he's the real deal. At least at the college level, anyways. Yeah. All right. I think that is it. That's going to do it. I will be back on Friday. We're going to talk about this matchup. We'll kind of see where things are at. Recruiting we're going to focus a little more on recruiting on Friday. The month of June is going to be wild. The month of June is going to be crazy. I think right now they're expecting something like, I want to say it's between 15 and 20 prospects in the month of June on campus. I think that's the number. Don't quote me on that yet. I'm going to get caught up on all that today and tomorrow and kind of get figured out where we're at with that and try and nail down some of these visits. But it's something, I think it's between 15 and 20 with the possibilities of adding more. And, yeah, that's going to include players that are committed elsewhere, players that are committed to Arkansas. And, again, we're going to try and get caught up on all that on Friday. So, and, of course, I'm sure there'll be some more news between now and then. You know, we try our best to keep everything in, you know, whatever's the latest on the Razorbacks, the three sports, football, basketball, and baseball. We try to discuss it as much as we can and keep everybody up to date. So, yeah, all right. I'll die on this hill. Grant Nelson is not good. Highlights are sexy, but that's it. I don't know. I think in the right system, I think he could be pretty dangerous. I have seen his highlights. I have watched. I have read a little bit about him. I do like him. I think he'd be a net positive. I don't know that he's a next level guy or not, but I certainly think he could thrive with Eric Musselman coaching him. I really do. The unbiased fan says, my heart was broken today. For a second time, right? For a second time. All right. You guys have a good rest of your day. I'll see you again on Friday. Until then.